Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaputale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. We're studying the third canto, 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is our friend, is our wealth, is our well-wisher. Madeka bandhu matsangi, madguru man mahadhana, man nishtaraka madbhagya, madananda namostute. So this treasure of knowledge gives us the soothing shelter in this scorching heat of material existence. So let us take shelter of these cooling rays and nourish our soul and protect our consciousness. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. I will start and then you can continue reading. So Vidura asked to give up this, to give this up is more unimaginable than an emperor's personal servant becoming a petty criminal. How was it possible? So Vidura is asking questions based on our eternal identity. How can the pure soul, who is Krishna's eternal servant, how can we fall under this illusion? Why? We get so influenced by material energy. And instead of realizing that the highest position is to surrender, the path of least resistance, to actually align to God's will and to actually trust God, instead we take up to self-will. So Vidura is like, my God, how can you give up this position of being such a connected, intimate devotee of the Lord, and which is actually unimaginable. Even emperor's personal servant, if he becomes a petty criminal, how incredible is that? This is even more incredible, he's saying. Maitreya explained that Maya functions in three ways: as the creative principle known as pradhana, as avidya or ignorance, and as vidya or knowledge. It is here avidya potency that befools the living beings. Avidya induces conditioned souls to forget their relationship with the Supreme Lord, and thus become overwhelmed by the 5 kinds of illusion which causes material bondage: attachment, hatred, pride, ignorance, and false identification. Vidura slowly shook his head. How could people be delivered from this illusion? The answer dawned in his heart. When they perform pure devotional acts, such as hearing about Krishna from a liberated soul, and then repeating those messages, Maya employs her vidya or knowledge potency, by which the conditioned souls again remember their eternal spiritual nature. Vidura looked up at Maitreya with renewed earnestness. Please tell me more. Maitreya said, all the above 6 stages of creation are executed by Krishna's material energy, Maya, and they are known as primary or Prakriti creation, Prakrita creation. Now hear from me about the Vaikrita or the secondary creation. For this, the Lord incarnates in the mode of passion as Brahma, who is empowered with the intelligence to create. In the 7th stage, Brahma creates all the immovable living entities. Vidura asked, how many types of immovable creatures are there? What other characteristics do they share? Maitreya replied, there are 6 kinds of immovable beings. Trees, like the fig, which bear fruit without flowers. Annual plants which die after bearing fruit. Creepers, bamboos, shrubs, and trees whose flowers turn into fruit. All of them draw their sustenance from below and distribute their nourishment upwards. Although almost unconscious, they experience slight pain on being cut. There are innumerable varieties. Let's pause there. So many detailed descriptions of how creation works and what are the divisions and subdivisions. Yesterday in our Friday meeting, one of our Vaishnavis said about, no, the topic yesterday was about what is consciously, at least, what is blocking us from aligning to Krishna's will and progressing, in a more satisfactory way, like that. And one of our students was expressing how, well, everything is exactly going according to Krishna's will. It's like an amazing perspective, right? Like everything has its own course of action, and Krishna is in charge. He's in control. Although he's not controlling our free will, he's still. And because in Bhagavad Gita, he says, all paths lead to him. And like that, when we're looking at every single animate, inanimate object, every creature, immovable, movable creatures, this point is again and again, let's say, emphasized, right, in principle. And then another point also that came up yesterday was along the same lines, how Krishna inspires us, right? Krishna inspires us to, based on our desire and our motivation, he gives us the desire and the determination to pursue whatever it is that we are seeking. How I forget the point exactly I wanted to make here, but again and again, the point is like the eagerness with which we approach Krishna, he reciprocates accordingly. And depending on the modes that influence us, we can choose what kind of goal we want to have. At the same time, all those things don't matter in bhakti. So I really find that fascinating, these two elements, that it does matter what is your desire, what is your mood, what mode of nature are you control. At the same time, all those things don't matter to Krishna. So it's like, wow, this is the achintya bheda, bheda tattva. Matters and doesn't matter at the same time. All right. Somebody likes to continue from here in the 8th stage.
In the 8th stage, Brahma creates 28 types of lower, movable species. They are very dull, detecting their needs by smell, and are incapable of much thought. Included amongst them are 3 categories of creatures which move on legs. These are beasts with cloven hooves, such as cows, goats, and buffalo; those with uncloven hooves, such as horses, mules, and donkeys; and those with 5 nails, such as dogs, jackals, and tigers. In this 8th stage of creation, Brahma also created birds. In the 9th stage, Brahma created the human species. What are their chief characteristics? Humans store food in their bellies. Furthermore, they are more passionate than any other species. In what way? Other animals only have sex during their allotted season. However, humans have sex at any time. What other traits do they have? They are always busy creating misery for themselves. But deluded by Maya, they think themselves happy. Wow. Yeah, this is very beautiful. Vidura, intrigued. Surely no one intentionally creates misery for himself. Right? Of course not, you see, Vidura. Humans are gifted with a higher intelligence to pursue liberation from material life. However, in ignorance, they misuse their intelligence to improve their material.
Sorry, just a second. I'm just trying to take a screenshot of this.
Material standards and find new ways to eat, sleep, mate, and defend. In so doing, they only compound their miseries. An illusion, however, they think their inventions have made them happier. Wow, that's so beautiful, right? They just think those inventions make them happier, and that's just an illusion. Vidura had traveled through many cities and seen the truth of Maitreya's observation. He had seen how people complicated their lives, creating so much unnecessary anxiety.
Oh God.
Prabhupada is saying, Prabhupada is saying this, like the unnecessary things that we create is just going to cause us anxiety. So nicely, it's written over here also.
And
Maitreya
also,
continued.
sorry, the inventions part, right?
Yeah,
We
right.
actually see exactly this is modern. What is modern civilization? It's basically this new ways to eat, sleep, mate, and defend. That's it. That's it. Every business, every product is basically okay, you want to eat better. Okay, you find food from another country. How do you import and export it? How do you make something from it? And then and then businesses of mattresses and whatnot. And then how to defend yourself. Okay, how to get a job, and then therefore the car and the van and the airplane and whatever. And basically everything is everything is centered on this four things: eat, sleep, mate, defend. And for that purpose we complicate so much. And then we think, oh, I have invented this new computer which can hold more memory or can do more things. And then, we are thinking, now I'm accomplished. But the truth is, we cannot actually become happier and feel fulfilled unless we follow the instructions of the spiritual master and follow the scriptures. We can feel it as devotees, right? When we become devotees, no matter how much money we earn, no matter how much material progress we may make, as long as we're not aligned to the instructions of the spiritual master, as long as we're not really performing devotional service according to our nature, etc., it doesn't give us fulfillment. It's always creates a sense of lack. Even you may say, yeah, even to the karmis it will create sense of lack. But for us, it's even more pronounced. For us, it's like a saving grace that Krishna doesn't let us enjoy the material illusion. He's like always there's like, I know this is a video game. I know this is not real. I know I'm not. I mean, since the death of my friend in Mayapur, everything seems so unnecessary. Like I feel like, what's the point? This, we're not even this body, like we can. Why am I supposed to like fight so much for it? Why don't I do something that will remain for my soul, not just for this body? Why all this false ego and whatnot? By the way, talking about false ego, yesterday in the reading, spoke about false ego in the mode of goodness. And I was thinking of me, it was only me and Rasastali, I think we were there. I don't think Taruni and Ras Manjari you were there. But I was thinking of what you would say about that, because we sometimes discuss about false ego and then false ego in the mode of goodness and all that. That was actually interesting. Okay. If you have anything to share,
False ego in the mode of goodness is what? Realizing that we are not this body.
false ego in the mode of goodness is the ability to want to create things, something like that. Like
identifying with the fact that I'm doing the piety, I'm doing the charity, I'm doing doer prakriti kriyamanani.
without that or with that?
With that.
Yeah.
False ego in the mode of goodness thinks that I am doing. Right? I know about devotees, but in general, like people who are in the mode of goodness.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes. I think that day when we were reading, it was you and me, right? I don't remember.
No, I don't remember.
Okay. It was me and Rasistali probably. I found that very intriguing.
So so goodness is basically still we are under the worldly influence.
Yeah.
Only when we go rise beyond all these three modes, we'll realize that we are not this body. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And like that, there is a bhajan, no? ನಾನು ನನ್ನದು ಎಂಬ ನರಕದೊಳಗೆ ಬಿದ್ದು ನೀನೇ ಗತಿ ಎಂದು ನಂಬಿದ ದಾಸನ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ದಯ ಬಾರದೆ ಅಂತ there's a song in that it says as long as even in sattva, right, I'm thinking I'm peaceful, my mind is in my control, I don't have any, whatever, like I and mine, ನಾನು ನನ್ನದು ಎಂಬ. So as long as there is me and mine, that's false ego.
Correct. That's there under all the three modes, right? It's operative under all the modes, not only goodness. Passion
Which
also, ignorance also.
Oh yeah,
all
yeah.
The modes, like,
Yeah.
that I and mine is there under all the three modes.
So true.
And the passionate person also is very much under the influence that I am doing all this. I need to do this. It's like so much is there, right? Much more than goodness.
Well, like I think passion, the person, like in passion, I'm trying to make things happen the way that maybe I don't even deserve or something. But in goodness, I'm in total awareness of this is my capacity, this is what I can do, and this is what I can be satisfied with. There is more control in one sense, more meaning, more a higher
Knowledge.
sense. Yeah, knowledge.
Awareness
Exactly.
also. Awareness also, right? You said
Awareness. Control in terms of knowledge and awareness. But in passion, it's so much overtaken by that sense of ownership that I may not know my limits. And I may not realize what is in my control and what is not in my control. And then, therefore, as a result, it leads to misery. Because I think that I deserve more. I think that I can achieve more. I think that, I could do better. And then those things cause frustration because we didn't realize, like you said, the awareness is not so, it's not priority. Awareness is not the priority. And then in tamas, so much of I and mine that we cannot handle the reality. And it becomes so difficult for us to accept accept the things the way they are. Tamas is one thing is everything, right? Yeah. Tamas means to see one thing as everything. When I'm feeling sad and I'm feeling like a failure, that becomes everything. And then there's nothing else that exists. And passion is more like, I am great. I can make this happen. The more of that sense, it's like a pronounced sense of self. But it's false also. It's not real self. It's this false sense of self. And then,
I
of course,
think it is decreasing levels of I and mine, I think, from ignorance to goodness.
From ignorance to goodness, decreasing sense of?
I and mine. I mean, decreasing intensity. I mean, ignorance, it's totally like 99% like that,
yeah.
I and mine. And in passion, they do things for others. They think of others, but again, I and mine. Attitude is I and mine. They're able to think of others, but it's ultimately selfishness. But in goodness, it is less compared to passion, the I and mine. That's how I see it.
And even in goodness, we may quantitatively do less, right? Because it's like we may not do much for others in sattva. It may look like we're not doing much for others, but qualitatively what we are doing is based on knowledge and awareness, and therefore it's more long term.
It's also aligned to the reality then, right?
Yeah. What is it more? It's more aligned to like something that sustains, something that can stay. Passion is like, okay, busy, run around. In Kannada, we say turu antirtare. Like literally, right? go here, go there. If you actually go, like, I'm actually going to catch a train in an hour, in 2 hours. So it's like, when you go to the train station, you see the total mode of passion active there. People running, people jumping on this, people are doing that, like there's so much action. And I've been thinking about again and again about ignorance being a good thing. When we go to sleep, like yesterday, I was thinking to do something. I think I wanted to watch some movie or something. And then I told myself, Tamaguna is better for now. Go to sleep. You need sleep. Yes, last night you didn't sleep enough. So sometimes Tamaguna can actually be a solution for Rajas gone wild,
Right. I liked what you were saying about like ignorance. There's only one thing. That one emotion rules the whole thing. There's nothing else which exists.
Yeah.
And then when that happens to elevate, it's like I'm just thinking, what will actually help the person elevate? Maybe again awareness, a little bit of awareness and coming out.
For example, yesterday, in our meeting, I was discussing about my god brother, and I said that he chanted 100 rounds before taking his life. And I was thinking why those 100 rounds didn't change his mind. Because I gave an example that sometimes I'm feeling angry with my bank manager or something. And then I pick up my bead bag and I start chanting, right? And 3 rounds, maximum 4 rounds, my mind has already come down. If, like my strategy changes. I'm not thinking anymore in tamas and rajas, right? I'm thinking, okay, I will let Krishna's will prevail, if Krishna let this happen, like that. And then somebody else told in the meeting, yeah, but this devotee was chanting 100 rounds, not wanting to get guidance, but more like asking forgiveness for what he has already determined to do. And I found that very interesting. The whole day, 100 rounds, every single name chanted with super focus. I mean, I can't even imagine. First of all, he's super brahmachari, sadhana devotee, served the deity for 8 years, Nrsingadev deity in Mayapur, can't get more focused than that. So what kind of rounds those rounds must have been, 100 rounds of complete surrender, complete sense of, but at the same time, like you always bring up, Taruni, the intention. If I'm going to chant with that intention, Krishna, I'm doing this. There are 2 ways, right? One is the way, first I pray, then I plan. But another way, which we usually do, we plan and then we pray for that plan to happen.
Yes, so true.
Then Krishna says, fine. Those are your modes dictating you. You want your modes more than me? Fine, I'll give it to you. So sometimes it's not even sattva which can save us. It's because sattva can be like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Suicide is like, I think less, even worse than tamas. Sattva, rajas, tamas, I don't know. Like tamas gone completely wild or something like that, right? Anyway, sorry.
In that chat, she's put that that thing saying that mode of ignorance is like complete illusion and madness. So like, no complete madness, complete illusion. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, complete illusion to think one thing is everything. Exactly. I mean, usually in tamas, we destroy, we burn bridges, we hurt people that we love, right? Tamas is what actually burns it. It's not so much rajas. Rajas say, let's go, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. Hey, get me this done. No, it's more in that. But tamas is what actually, tamas mixed with rajas is where we actually gets violent and we destroy things, we hurt each other. It's always the tamas that actually, it's interesting. Tamas is also sleep because it's the presence of ignorance, in the sense, the presence of darkness, right? We go to sleep and there is ignorance there, like no awareness. At the same time, lack of awareness can also get us into this maddened delusion state of saying anything that comes to our mind and blast it out. And it's also ignorance. Isn't it interesting how the mixture of modes can, it's like amazing actually. The percentage of modes, how a percentage of sattva, percentage of rajas and percentage of tamas can either put us to sleep or can put us into huge trouble. Very interesting. And all these entities we're reading is also basically play of modes. Different, like you'll read now, different categories have different modes more prevalent. Like when it's said about humans, obviously we are most aware than any other animals because we have more sattva. I mean, animals don't take bath, don't brush their teeth, don't eat in time, they don't do anything. Of course, it seems only mating they do properly in time, and humans are the ones who are more out of control in that regard. But everything else is more like, everything else seems to be more, humans are more aware. I think animal life is all about the path of least resistance. Just do whatever you feel and go along and do it. But humans are not able to. I'm not able to reconcile between path of least resistance and progress in life. I think it's a balance. I think internally we are supposed to have the goal. I'm Krishna is mine, and that's my goal. And the path of least resistance is whatever leads me to that, I'll do it. Whatever doesn't lead me, that's it. I'm not doing it. That's like not having anything else get in the way. But then at the same time, without that as a goal, path of least resistance can only bring us to hell. Actually not. You know, Prabhupada says there's so much hard work even to go to hell. People have to work so hard, drive in the traffic, go and, catch these animals, cut them. And I'm just saying, like, even meat eating or illicit sex or intoxication, there's so much hard work that's necessary. Even to go to hell it's not a joke. It's the same effort. Probably it's less effort. Yeah. Robert said that, right? Like we don't drink, we don't smoke, many things we don't do. So it's actually the path of least resistance in
Regulative acts of freedom or something, he says, right?
Right.
So it is like, actually it's done like a regulation. It's like it gives us freedom by following this. And one more thing that I was thinking about is like one thought that came was surrender is also like that only. You accept what is favorable and you reject what's unfavorable. So that's exactly what you were saying, right? You said you accept Krishna as the goal, and then whatever is favorable you're doing, and whatever is not leading to Krishna you're not doing. It's this all similar. The principles are very similar to surrender. You're talking about that.
How do you determine what is favorable and what is not? What gives us that?
Shastras only, right? Shastras, Guru Sadhu Shastra.
Yeah. So many kinds of creatures, huh? So many varieties. See, only humans we have to remember what we heard and the ability to recall what has been discussed. Okay, can you please continue?
Yes. Madhya, look, please, be appreciative. This is where we are. Previous page, or correct? Huh?
Appreciated how attentively Vidura heard.
Yeah, heard, and his ability to recall what had been discussed. Yes, you're right. Those gods mentioned in the primary creation are different from these. They are the personified elements who reside in the universal form and preside over the senses of the living beings. Besides those deities, there are 33 million administrative gods. These are created by Brahma. Other beings in the category of gods were also created by Brahma. These are the Pitris, the demon races, the Gandharvas and Apsaras, the Yakshas and Rakshasas, the Siddhas, the Chandras, The Vidyadharas, the Bhutas, Pretas, and Pisachas, and the superhuman races like the Kinkaras and Kimpurushas. All these beings have exceptional powers. Vidura clasped his hands together. Please tell me more.
Let's pause there. I find it interesting, the bhutas, the pretas and pisachas, and they all are considered categories. So there is nothing as such as eternally condemned to hell, or eternal. There is nothing like eternal body, or even ghostly body is not eternal. So Krishna, there's always redemption in Krishna consciousness. There is nothing like eternal hell. Like Christianity is very much about they're going to rot in eternal hell. But even you see all these bhutas and pretas and pishachas and all, basically they don't even have a body. They don't have a gross body, right? But still, they have their own process of evolution. I think I mentioned once, one of my teachers, when they do yagyas, they can liberate ghosts from that ghostly body and then send them to moon planet. And then from moon planet, the rays of the moon, through those rays of the moon, those souls enter into vegetables and all. And then the man eats the vegetables, and then that turns into sperm, and then that sperm gets a material body. Like that, there's evolution for everybody, even the ghosts and the pretas and the pishachas and whatever. And that's why they have some kind of course, not everybody has powers. Did you know that this people like bhutas, pretas, and pishachas, this particular category, they are 3 times the population of humans on Earth. So when you look up, like between the sky, I don't know what exactly means sky in this case, but above us, when we look up, these people reside there. These bhutas and pretas and pishachas, they reside up there in the middle. And Bhutaraj is the lord of those entities. These entities consist of different kinds of akala mrityu and all this kind of. Some people are also kind of guardian angel category. They may be protecting their loved ones in the form of that kind of body without body. I mean, and these people are sent on different missions, and that is also like a kind of a prison house where Bhutraj is in charge to make sure that these people are also progressing in their own way, so that they can go on in their evolution. And of course, there are some humans that take advantage even of those entities, and they try to control them, and they try to do all sorts of things like black magic and all that kind of stuff. But they are under the control of Bhutaraj. And Bhutaraj is a devotee of Krishna. If you've been to Sonda, you'll see that in the evening time when they're doing puja, Bhutaraj really comes in his chariot. You can actually see him. It's amazing. In the evening, they do this puja, and then Bhutaraj actually comes and receives this puja. And he's worshipped as a Vaishnava there. Sonda is the matha of Vadiraja Tirtha, who's one of our Vaishnava acharyas in many hundreds of years ago. And this Bhutaraj got converted, so to speak, and he became a devotee like that. So it's so amazing that everybody, everything is going to Krishna, meaning every path is the path of Krishna. Even these entities who are considered lower, right? They're kind of tamas, right? Bhuta, pretas, and pishachas. I don't know if it's tamas because they don't even have a tamasic body. Like body is gross, right? Gross elements. And that's kind of can be considered as that is considered as mode of ignorance, the Dravya Shakti. But then the Kriya Shakti, the ability to do things, the mind with which we want to do things, that's Kriya Shakti, that's passion. So in one sense, ghosts don't even have a material body. So I don't know if we can consider them exactly in tamas. But I find all this very fascinating. Gandharvas and Apsaras and Yakshas and Rakshasas, right? They can also change their bodies. By the way, talking about ghosts, there are 11 kinds of ghosts. One is like the easiest, most common one is white in color. Very everywhere, kind of everywhere, you can say. They will be hovering around dead bodies of animals, and that's why you shouldn't eat meat, because in that meat will be the ghost of that animal which was killed. And those white ghosts are not so dangerous, so to speak. They a lot of people have many of them. Like a host of those ghosts will make people very lazy and very like evil and angry and all those kind of things. And then as you go higher, higher, then is the last one, the 11th one is the Brahma Rakshasa. Those are the ones that can shape shifters. They can actually take any shape, any form of anybody, like that. Maybe the Brahmanas who become ghosts and they had some evil mind or something like that, they may become Brahma Rakshasas, those who had like done a lot of austerities. So there are so many other intermediary categories of ghosts. And I mean, I had studied a little bit about this because my teacher does ghost busting. He can capture the ghost and remove it from people's bodies and homes and liberate them and get them into the cycle again. Like that. I don't know much about the lives of Kinnaras and Kimpurushas, but must be super fascinating. Siddhas and Charanas and Vidyadharas, they're all very talented, very skilled. If you have anything to share about any of these categories, please feel free.
I'm just hearing from you, Mataji. One thing that I've heard is that once the soul gets liberated and then it's actually traversing through all the different top layers, top planets, and ascending to the higher planets. If at all it looks to any of these planets and gets fascinated, right? The aeroplane, which is actually taking the person to probably Vaikuntha, right, is just going to stop and then allow them, because they suddenly develop this desire. Perhaps they've not seen it, but then they develop this desire when they're passing through it. And then just imagine what kind of stability of mind you should, because subtle body still has a mind intelligence false ego, right? The true false ego mind intelligence is still present. So if that gets attracted to any of the things, even like in the heavenly realms, when you're passing through, you say, "Oh, how wonderful!" Like that, if that desire comes, and then the airplane is just going to stop, and then that person will have to take birth there, enjoy, and just finish off the desire because they're still not fit to go back to the Lord in His service. Yeah, so that's what was coming. Yeah.
I want to share something, but it's personal, and I want to finish this paragraph and then share it because it's related to yesterday's share and something Vilas Manjari and I both were mentioning it. But can you please finish this paragraph and then we'll end the live and then we can talk about it.
Sure. Maitreya smiled. I was answering your questions about time, but got diverted into speaking about 10 types of creation. Let me first finish explaining about time. Then I will continue to describe the development of the material creation beginning with Manu's descendants. The main point we must understand is that Vishnu incarnates as the mode of passion in the form of Brahma. Thus, Vishnu creates the universe by himself from himself. Wow.
Wow. What is that? Jaladi ala dalaya mele. There is a bhajan. In that, two of this comes. One, he says, Jaladiala Delaya Mele Malagi Berala Saviva Vanige. That's one sentence which says that Krishna is lying on the causal ocean. I mean, he's lying on the devastation ocean and he's sucking his toe. And then it says how what's that? ಅವನು ತಾನೇ ತನಯರನ್ನು ತನ್ನವಯವದಿಂದ ಪಡೆದವನಿಗೆ. This is exact translation that Vishnu creates the universe by himself from himself. He creates, from his navel, he gives birth to Brahma. And so he doesn't even need the wife to continue the progeny. So I remember those two songs. I like this point very much, to see Brahma as an incarnation of Krishna. And that's why all the sometimes I wonder, wow, this material body, you touch here and then it connected somewhere else, and this nerve here and then it solves the other problem. It's amazing. I'm like, Brahma did a great job, and now I'm like, Krishna did a great job. Okay, I'm going to stop the live and share something that we discussed earlier.